What is creation spirituality? Creation spirituality honors all of creation as original blessing. It integrates the wisdom of both Eastern and Western spirituality and global indigenous cultures with the emerging scientific understanding of the universe and the passion of creativity.
You know, the Milky Way has lots of stars.
It is both a tradition and a movement, celebrated by mystics and agents of social change from every age and culture. This is creation spirituality. Come join us.
A spiritual awakening. It's not about just fitting into the forms we have. It is about living on the margin. And there is where your creativity, your imagination takes fire. Also, studies on the universe show that it is this cusp between chaos and order. It's at that cusp, on the margin, that real change happens in evolution. Not being content with the order end of things, and not just being anarchist, and with the chaos entirely, but on the margin, playing, dancing between chaos and order. We have to find that in our own lives, in our own psyches, and in the communities. Creation spirituality is not easily pigeonholed. There are so many versions of it. Every one of you is a version of it in the various communities you represent. And that's how it should be. And it's a wonderful place to live if you can stand the heat, the chaos. Because it keeps you young, it keeps you alive, it keeps you dancing, and it makes you a hard target for them to catch.
Anyway, some of us have not had a particular moment, but we've been living an inherent creation-centered spirituality for as long as we can remember. Or it's been developing more fully. And whether it's a particular aha moment or this kind of inherent creation-centered spirituality, many of us have had the common experience then in that journey of reading a book by Matthew Fox and saying, this is exactly what I've known intellectually and intuitively. Well, we're arriving here to share our stories, to share what this has been prompting in us for participating thoughtfully with heart and commitment to what Thomas Berry calls the great work in the book by that name. And he says, the great work before us is the task of moving modern industrialized civilization from its present devastating influence on the earth to a more benign mode of presence. So we're arriving to connect with this community of folk who are gathered here this weekend. We're committed to be a part of the energy of the creation spirit.
I love creation spirituality, but I wanted to be a part of what's beginning of the seed, and I come from education, and I love Matt's take on education. It worked in very well with my first grade views on what learning's about also.
I don't want to adopt a tradition and just sort of say, oh, I read how to do this tradition, it's not mine, but I'm going to facilitate it. I want you to celebrate your tradition and teach it to me in a community so that we can have that. That's true interfaith community and spiritual community. And I think it's hard work because we are human and we migrate to difference. And I don't vilify that. I say this is the nature of where our world is going. So as much as there's a warm fuzzy related to getting together with like-minded people who have danced and who like to create art, who care for the earth.
You are a beloved child of the earth.
There's something that we're called to that's much more than a warm fuzzy. I'm afraid of what will happen if we don't do the work of community that's before us. And I believe that we have the pedagogy, we have the training, we have the resources to know how to create a community that is not fundamental, that honors one another, that models about what a creation spirituality community could be. But I have some ideas about that. I feel like it's desperately needed in our time to bring creation spirituality to a broader audience. When I talked to Matt and Shard, Matt said, I want to bring creation spirituality to the inner city youth. I want to teach youth so it doesn't cost anything to bring creation spirituality. And I said, well, I was raised with a model that did that and taught youth. It was called Sunday school. And it was free. And so I was thinking, what would it be like instead of going to vacation Bible school if people could go to vacation universe school? Yeah. And people like Larry Edwards was there, and learn in our spiritual communities, not just our educational communities, but in our spiritual communities, how it is not just our responsibility to care for the earth, but how the earth cares for us. And how healing the earth is for us in that connectedness. I think that would be fabulous. I'd be a part of it. I'd volunteer at that vacation universe school. So I think that our communities can be places where we bring up youth. Where are the youth? Because it's boring. But they certainly aren't drawing with more salt, the galaxies, how the universe was formed.
You may think this is salt, but this has been transmuted into a box of stars.
But if they did, I think more youth would show up to church.
My dissertation will be on the Milky Way galaxy for children.
Oh. So are you...
the thing that Larry did for us?
Yeah, that's amazing.
With the salt.
Yeah.
And Susan mentioned it in her talk Friday night.
Isn't that great?
My dissertation.
Oh, that's good.
So
that's
it's really
good.